Welcome back to the Professional Lovers Channel. I'm Al.
And I'm Patty, and we are
The Professional Lovers.
With a very short recap for you this week, because if you watched the episode last night, they did a little switcheroo, a little cliffhanger from the last couple. It was decision day, and they're trying something new where they're going to follow the couples over the next 3 episodes as
After
they start
decision
their
day.
new lives from whatever their decisions were. So anyway, we're going to talk about, our predictions and how well we fared with the actual decision, starting with Jasmine and Eris. So Jasmine and Eris, I think were first. They talked about, how they grew together as well as individuals. They talked about their challenges, which for him was her not speaking up for herself, and then for her was him not committing really to his non-attraction to her.
Too little, too late.
And
he couldn't get out of his own
And
way.
He did admit that the first 4 weeks he just bumbled. And if he had done in the first 4 weeks what he started doing the last 4 weeks, then they probably would have had a different experience. So they asked her to go first with her decision. My prediction was that she would say no. Your prediction was no prediction.
Either or. She was going to say yes or no.
Ding, 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 ding. I won that one. She said no, as she thought about what she wanted in a marriage, what she wanted in a husband, and he did not provide any indication that he could give that to her. And it was what she deserved. Now, and then of course he said divorce as well. What was he going to say after she said no? Anyway, so they're getting a divorce, which is a good thing, I think. And after they gave their decision, what was it that made him start talking about his self-esteem and how he loves himself and how he affirms himself every day in the mirror?
He wanted her to start doing that.
And she was like,
he felt that she didn't.
Oh, you think I don't love myself?
Yeah, I don't have any self-love.
And so...
And I think, again, one of them opportunities where we open mouth and insert foot. I know he didn't mean to say it the way it came out, because he indicated that that's what he does for himself. You know, he thought that she may have even heard him whisper it because he audibly says it, And it's just his way of jump-starting himself for his day. Okay, fine. But he kind of projected that on her, thinking in the manner that he said it, made it seem like she didn't have self-love. And that's how she took it.
Well, he was confusing her not wanting to face conflict with not having self-love.
Well, he didn't want to face conflict either.
Those are two different things. And so she looked at him like he had 3 eyes. And
was going to hit him in all 3 of them.
And then, when the experts asked her about him, she was like, well, he's got commitment issues.
True.
And, the non-attraction was just, was a way to not commit. And if it wasn't that, she said it would have been something else. Because she felt he really wasn't ready to be married. And I agree with that. I don't think he was ready to be married because he did not understand what loving somebody is.
Or being in love. Being in love with somebody.
He did not understand what being in love with somebody is. Yeah, what that means. And so, good for them. I'm glad that they divorced. Yeah. Unfortunately, I hate to say that.
And I just hope that they're not, there's no animosity between the two.
I didn't think there would be. All right, so the next couple to come on, I believe, were Nicole and Chris, and...
that was a gamble.
We both got that prediction right. Ding, 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 ding. Because we said yes. They would say yes. And of course they said yes. They tried to create some drama. And, so that didn't really work. All right. And we got a phone call right in the middle of that, but I declined it. So anyway, they're staying married, as we knew they would, and they should, because they really did have the best chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They had the best experience. They had the best
communication
communication.
styles.
Yes, even though they're different personalities, they do balance each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have expressed, concern that they haven't had a real fight yet. But that's not to say that she hasn't showed her temper, which she has inferred that she has.
Yeah.
But he knows how to handle that.
Simmer that, yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to handle that. So I do think that they have a great chance if they really stay committed to how they've been operating together. They have a real chance of having a strong relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, Gina and Clint. Ding, 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 ding.
That was a no-brainer.
That was a no-brainer, like Nicole and Chris was a no-brainer.
Pretty much.
They were a no. Now, he did sound like he was getting ready to say, when he's talking about, if I had to do this over again, I'd want to do this again with you as my wife. And she looked at him like, well, what are you getting ready to say? And everybody's looking like, what you getting ready to say? But I think we need a divorce. Yeah. And she agreed with that.
And see, now, believe it or not, as sharp or as untapered, I don't know, I don't even know if that's a proper word, but as Clint is
annoying.
No. In his delivery of his whatever's on his mind.
Rough around the edges.
Yeah, he's even more than that. It's not, and it's not that he's jagged, but he's just very.
I hope you understand what that means.
Yeah, I think the guys do. All three of y'all, but he never really said anything negative. I mean, aside from
the honeymoon, where they both said negative things about each other.
I think that was just stupid on his part.
Well, it was a retaliation.
Yeah, but I mean, he never said anything negative about her. I really think he got to like her, but knew that there was no way that anything was ever going to happen, and which is why I think he was kind of couching it all the way up to that point that, it was what it was, and if it was to be done all over again, I'd do it again.
Well, he would have said yes to the dog.
He tried to buy the dog. He tried to buy the dog.
Offer $10,000 for, I don't want you, but I want your dog.
I don't think, dog might have gone.
Wow, no, she wasn't giving up her dog.
I didn't say she was giving up the dog. I said the dog might have gone.
Well,
dog,
that's a no.
Dog likes ice cream.
But if they continue to live in the same building, then he can take the dog on walks. I think his name is Hank. He can take Hank on walks.
Yeah. And
continue their little bromance. So that brings us to our last couple.
The cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger couple.
Which actually allows us to predict the game.
Well, I'm sticking with my prediction because ding, 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 ding. My prediction about Kirsten was correct. She said, yes, she wanted to stay married. And he left them hanging for a setup of possibly saying no, which is what I predicted. We don't know for sure.
He's going to say yes.
If he's going to say yes or no.
He's going to say yes. Because he knows that they have grown. He knows that he can't. I don't think that there's anything negative. Now, he talks about the support. But like I said, where she kind of projected the expectation of the father image on him, he projected the expectation of the motherly support on her.
Yeah.
But he never expressed it to her. He said that he kept saying that he needed the support. He needed the support. And that's what I was talking about last week when I mentioned the mama's boy type situation came out. Mom will give it to you no matter what the situation is. Even if you're not feeling, that you need it, she's going to provide it because that's what mothers do. And in his situation where he needed something, but he didn't express what his need was, and he didn't get it, he felt a certain way. And he projected that on her, which I'm hoping he understood what he did or what he failed to do in letting her know what he needed from her. So if he can go back to that and just collect the elements that got him to feeling that way, that he wasn't supported, if he can get past that and understand that he didn't request it, because if he requested it, he would have received it, he'll say yes.
Well, that demonstrates your prediction from last week, which was you're committed to every option.
I say he'll say yes.
You were committed to every option last week, that they could say no, but they could say yes, and one could say yes, and one could say no.
Did I lie?
So, no prediction.
I'm predicting this week.
Okay, so you're predicting that he will say yes as well. Okay.
I ain't got no money, but I'm predicting it.
Well, next week we'll see if you are correct.
And I'll still be broke.
So, one thing I do want to ask, though, as a closing, both, well, in this kind of arrangement, physical attraction becomes important from the standpoint that they don't have an opportunity to feel that or cultivate that from the very beginning.
Right. It's done for them.
So we have two couples. We have Eris and Jasmine, where he says he was not physically attracted to her, which I don't believe.
I don't believe it either.
But eventually that's what he used as a way of deflecting that whole thing. And then Kirsten said she was not physically attracted to Shaq, mainly because he was bald and she didn't particularly care for bald men. But hers switched, and his essentially switched as well, because he demonstrated physical attraction.
You saying Eris?
Eris demonstrated physical attraction to Jasmine at the very beginning, and then it waned. And Kirsten did not have physical attraction at the beginning, and then it grew.
Yeah.
How important do you think physical attraction is to a relationship?
This type of relationship?
Period.
I think it holds a lot of weight. But the more one gets to know the individual, the freedom of time to get to know the individual, physical attraction becomes less of a deal breaker, because you get to know the character and personality of the person. Because physically, if you just take a picture, there may be a lot of unattractive people, so to speak, because of one's personal preference. But as soon as they open their mouth, they could be the life of the party, or someone that you feel you can talk to, or you're free with, or you're comfortable because they allow you to be comfortable. So suddenly the physical attraction is definitely put on the back shelf. So initially, yes, it bears an enormous weight. Yeah. I mean, especially as we grow older, we realize that everybody has a certain attractive element. Now, whether it's just physical, or
totally physical,
yeah,
or different physical attributes,
or just the way they carry themselves.
So another question. So if a person uses physical attraction to decide whether or not to even deal with another person, do you think that's superficial?
If it goes past just the reason,
if they use physical attraction as a way to just weed people out.
Oh yeah, that's a little shallow. Personally, I think that's. Very
Okay, and
sad.
I'm asking that because that is kind of a huge thing in this setting,
Mm-hmm.
married at first sight. Um, but to me, a mature person,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has preferences, and there's nothing wrong with having preferences. But if you use your preferences as the tool for deciding who you're going to give time to or not,
Mm-hmm.
even when you're first meeting someone, I do think that a lot of people miss
Miss out.
out
Yeah.
on developing strong um, friendships
Mm-hmm.
that could lead to relationships when you use that as your only tool for I'm gonna give him some time or I'm not gonna give him any time.
True. Oh no, definitely. I definitely believe that. Um, and it's not to say that everybody that you give time to has to be an extreme relationship or an intense relationship.
Right,
You know.
you don't have to see that person necessarily as husband and wife material
Mm-hmm.
at that time, but
I mean, even
I
boyfriend
just
girlfriend.
think that if society tends to put too much
Oh well, I mean,
weight
society now,
on physical attractiveness
in the manner in which,
versus maybe physical chemistry,
true, yeah, true.
which doesn't necessarily have to
But see,
rely on attractiveness.
but in today's society, the now society,
Mm-hmm.
everything is desiring to be so quick and happen so now that you don't get a understanding of what it is you're getting involved with or who you're getting involved with.
Mm-hmm.
You just see and you know animal instinct with absolutely no thought behind it whatsoever, and it 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 becomes devalued. Yeah, relationships become devalued. You never get to know anybody, and a lot of it has to do with today's society and technology and how we communicate long distance. We call friends people that we only communicate through a phone with. And,
Or Facebook
yeah,
or
exactly. Social media,
Instagram
you know,
or TikTok
because
or
people follow you, they're your friends.
so weigh in with your feeling about whether or not physical attractiveness is given too much weight by our society for determining whether or not to give someone time. And then did your predictions come true
Mm-hmm.
with
Let us know.
any of the couples who made their decision? Yes, let us know. And then next week, we'll be back with the last decision and then what's going to follow as the couples move on with their
but get
lives.
but get followed and I don't know, expose some unique situations. Matter of fact, we
Yeah.
got a couple of
Some switcheroos.
yeah,
Looks like some switcheroos are going to happen. So until then, you know what we want you to do. We want you to love yourself.
and each other.
Bye.
Peace.